You could call it Uncommon Knowledge. A groundbreaking program right here in West Michigan is changing the game when it comes to educating the incarcerated. The Calvin Prison Initiative just enrolled a man whose face and case you may recall from a high-profile murder trial in Kalamazoo. Our cameras were recently granted rare access behind bars by the state of Michigan to speak with him about this potentially life-altering experience. Andy Dominiani shares his story.
At the dead end of a desolate country road, in the middle of farm fields, surrounded by wire, sits a men's prison. But the building's bleak, austere exterior betrays nothing of the bright minds inside.
You're getting a degree today because you earned it. This is the result of your efforts, your hard work, and your dedication.
Welcome to Calvin University, Richard A. Handlin Correctional Center campus in Ionia, where Brian Peterson of Kalamazoo is a brand new student.
I am thankful that the MDOC partnered with Calvin. Because of this program, I've seen people's lives change.
Including his own. Peterson's scholastic path brought him here in a long and meandering way. He'd enrolled in and dropped out of 2 colleges, but his education and life as he knew it came to a screeching halt one October night in 2012.
What the evidence is going to show is that Mr. Peterson went out there, bashed the back of the head of Luke Vincent with that dumbbell.
Sometimes a split-second decision carries consequences that last forever. For Peterson, it was a violent encounter that ended in death in a rented house on Cedar Street. He took matters and a barbell into his own hands, he says, to protect his roommate from her boyfriend's brutal beating.
I physically saw him on top of her. She had like knuckle marks on her face. The guy had bruises on his hands. And I stepped in to try to stop it. I hit this guy. His name was Luke Vincent. I regret every day what happened.
Peterson was promptly arrested, booked in the Kalamazoo County Jail, and ultimately tried and convicted of murder.
The girl that I was helping took the stand, and she said she couldn't remember what happened. I never took the stand.
You never testified?
Never testified.
Why?
Well, my attorney told me not to. I had to trust him. And I regretted that because I felt like no one heard my side of the story.
He is now 11 years into a 20 to 50-year sentence, although all of a sudden, things are looking more promising. After one rejection, Peterson applied again and was accepted into the Calvin Prison Initiative.
Being accepted into this program was a big deal for me. This is something that I can do now without the distractions of life.
So how's it going?
It is going, it's a little more rigorous than I thought it was going to be.
I bet.
And it's like one of those things where you start studying and you're like, oh wow, this is not easy stuff they're teaching you.
It's not easy stuff and designed for those doing hard time. The Calvin Prison Initiative, or CPI, is a 5-year-long liberal arts education taught in person, 12 hours in class, and 40 hours of homework every week. It's aimed at inmates serving long or life sentences.
Calvin has really made it part of their mission to impact these communities, and they do that by enrolling folks who have longer time to serve, or maybe will serve the rest of their life in prison, but they're giving them the skills to have an impact on the culture around them, to the other people who live here, to the people who work here.
Kyle Kaminsky is the Offender Success Administrator for the Michigan Department of Corrections. He's championed higher learning in what many would call a very low place.
If our goal is to give people access to education to have a profound change on the direction of their life, this is the population that really needs that. And in the case of somebody like Brian, he's going to be in this program for about 5 years, so that's going to benefit him and benefit the program. But then he's got some time to serve after that, where he's going to kind of take the mission forward.
And taking this mission forward is critical. Peterson and his CPI classmates will be charged with counseling other inmates and changing the culture of their prison.